Hello, my friends. How you doing? This is Aaron Mauer, Coffee Chug, and here we are with our next set of challenges. The theme for this set of building challenges and learning and investigation is on complex communication. And so any of you that are from the state of Iowa, you are aware of our universal constructs. And even if you're not part of Iowa, I guarantee complex communication, being able to articulate thoughts and these types of things, are all things you're working on, regardless of the state or the country that you're from. We know how vital it is to be able to express our ideas, communicate thoughts, being able to work with others, especially when we get into the murky areas where there isn't a necessarily right solution. There isn't an answer key. And so how do we work in these waters that are a little murky where we have to try to figure out what is a solution and to be able to grapple with other people, other ideas to try to come up with what we think is the best idea that will solve the challenge at hand. And so as you look at the challenges for complex communication, you're going to see a couple things. One, it's going to be structured a little bit different, but I think in a good way. Because if we look at, in our case, Iowa, the universal constructs, we have some key things that we want to focus on. We want to focus on negotiation process that generate mutually satisfactory solutions. So how do we work with others to come up with those solutions? How do we manage and resolve conflicts? How do we select and integrate various communication processes? How do we articulate? Is it verbal? Is it written? Is it through media? Is it, all the different types of ways to express our ideas? Understanding interactions among modes of communication. So if we have various modes of communication, how do we process? How do we do stuff with it? The focus, energy, and passion around a key message and navigating the nuances of effective communication. We know all the subtle nuances. And so this whole month is designed to create these types of learning opportunities. And so as we've been looking at the last couple months, maybe some of those builds and models fit, maybe they didn't, but the idea here is to get you thinking, to take you through a learning experience. And so you as the educator, it's just as important that you're the student and that you're the student with your own students. And so the marble maze, all right, maybe that doesn't hit a core content standard, but there are universal things that we're trying to do with kids: problem solving, looking at pieces, being able to go through an engineering process, the prototype and rapid iteration, all these things that we're trying to infuse in math and social studies and language arts and science and all the other subjects are in these builds. And so as we think about this month, as we think about complex communication, one of the things that I really want to see grow in this community is our communication, our sharing of ideas. I still think, one, you're ungodly busy and probably don't have a whole lot of time, but two, we need to hear more from you. And obviously, we're not going to slap you on the wrist. There's no consequence if you choose not to. But in the Facebook group and maybe through email and things like that, we want to hear your ideas. We want to hear the thinking process because it's so vital for us to realize that we're not alone in our thoughts. We're not alone in looking at, say, a marble maze from the last challenge of critical thinking and go, I don't know how to do this. And then how do we reach out? How do we share? All right, we had several people share some marble maze designs, and they were phenomenal, and I'm so excited to see that. Then we had the candy dispenser and some really good builds there, but I think we can do more and we can do better. And so my challenge this month, especially because the theme is complex communication, is for us as a community of learners to use communication to empower one another, to share one another our ideas, because I think you're going to start to realize that we all have incredible ideas. And by sharing, you could be the spark, the catalyst that someone else needs. So moving into this month, outside of my soapbox there that I really want you to get engaged in the online communities to share and network and help one another, we've got some great things. There is a podcast I talk with Becky McDowell, and she is someone who I've come across in past through last year doing some work together. We've been doing some work this year. She is phenomenal. She's doing incredible work. You need to add her to your network. But the podcast, she really has some really, really, really good ideas. And she's the one that's joined me in the 25 Days of Making. She helped me spur the Lego Ornament Challenge we did back in December. Just a really great episode for you to get some key learning about this topic and much, much more. I'm also going to be putting out, you're going to see it on the site, a Google form. I'll naturally pair you up for our next month. Next month is collaboration. So you might be thinking like, why is this dude already talking next month? I got to get through this communication one because it takes a while for people to get signed up. And so obviously I already know you. I have access to your email, but this form here is going to be designed in case you want to put your students in small groups and you want to do this with your students, or if you have several of your own kids or things like that. I just need to get a head count because next month we're going to be doing some online collaborative building. You're going to have to be doing some build designs with somebody else in another location. So while I want all of you that are signed up as the adults in the class to partner up, some of you may want to have your students involved. And so I just want to get a head count and start to navigate that. So there's a Google form that I'm going to ask you to fill out to get prepped for our collaboration challenge next month. And that'll give us all month to get that done. All right, the other things that we have, there is a question of the month. Last month, we talked about how do you store your Lego, and there are some great ideas and links on the Facebook post for that. Continue to share those ideas. This month, we're going to take a look at how do you sort them. Do you even sort them? And what's that sorting process look like? And I'll be weighing in on my structure of what I do. I use my own Legos for the 21 school districts that I serve. And so I have lots of different ways in which I sort and utilize pieces. So I'll be sharing that as we get rocking and rolling as well. Now, the key thing here for the build for this month is it's one big challenge. And what you're going to see is a link to a slide deck where we posted some challenges from the last time we ran this course, and other people contributed communication challenges. What we want you to do this month is to use one of those and then share how it went. Share pictures, whatever it is you're able to do. And if you have your own twist, your own idea, add that to the slide deck. So that slide deck last year started with just a couple ideas, and now we've got several. And so you sharing what works in your space is going to be really important. And with that, I'm going to be linking either to the site or later in an updated newsletter some work we've been doing with a couple elementaries. We've been building out lessons on the social emotional learning competencies linked into how do we play, teaching kids these basic skills. And a lot of the first mini lessons we have is on communication, so that when they start to get into core content builds using WeDo or literacy strategies and things like that, they already know how to play and work together in these types of things. So these lessons, we've got a couple launched, we've got to find up a couple more, are going to be shared for you to use as well. And I think this is going to we're onto something really powerful, and I want you to be able to have access to it as well. And so as you get into that collaboration, you're going to take a look at that build, and check it out and add your own ideas and keep the dialogue going through this month. There's a second communication challenge, and this one's just on gratitude. I think we hit an area, especially here in the Midwest. It's snowy, it's cold, people are starting to get sick. You kind of just get run down. You're waiting for spring. And so I think this is a good time of year for us to express some gratitude. So the challenge here is to build a model that you could give someone. Now, I know not all of you have an abundant amount of Legos to give Legos away. So it's building a model, then maybe, taking a picture and adding it to a letter, printing it off at like a Walgreens or putting it in an email and sending it, whatever you want to do. And for me personally, I was clicking on the links prepping for this month, and it kind of took me back a little bit because my example that I used was there was a heart that I built for my grandmother in April of last year because she was going through some health issues. And so I wrote her a letter and just let her know I was thinking of her and that we love her and that kind of thing. And I forgot that I did that. So when I clicked on the link, it gave me pause because just a week ago she passed away. And so between that and, the recent passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other wonderful people that were on that helicopter, we never know. We're never guaranteed tomorrow. And so I think this is a really important one to express gratitude because you may not always have that opportunity. If you keep waiting, you might wait too long. So that one's there for you. And if you want to share your builds, we're not asking you to share the personal letters and things like that, but we would be interested maybe in the build itself to intrigue and give us some curiosity. Last, I have another podcast with Jeff Robin. He was one of the founders of High Tech High out in San Diego. And so this is not a podcast that you would want to listen to around your kids. There are a few choice words in there when he gets fired up. But the idea of authentic work, doing the work, I think resonates with where we are in this course. And so it's one of my favorite podcasts. I've, recorded at this time 115 of them at this point in time, and it is definitely in my top three. The message that he has is so spot on. And then there's just some links and resources and some other things. The biggest thing for us is to communicate and get together. So I'll be up front. I'll be sharing some things. I'm finishing my lessons on some social emotional learning. I'm prepping for next month with something pretty cool using this. And in the meantime, it's all about how do we communicate ideas, how do we work together. So continue to share your ideas as you have lessons and projects. We'll link it to the site and all that good stuff. Stay active, stay current, keep up the grind, keep doing what you're doing. We're so appreciative of all of you, whether you are parents, librarians, educators, coaches, mentors, whatever the label is, you have an opportunity to influence someone in a positive direction. So thank you. I look forward to the work that you do. And here we are, the next module on complex communication. Peace.